Let's have a conversation. I want to take this time to thank everybody for their support of myself, Mark, and the music and mental health movement. Please take this time to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. I hope y'all Saturdays are going well. Give me a moment. I'm going to be turning on my camera in a little bit. Give me a moment. Just doing a couple of quick things. How y'all Saturdays going? Mine is going pretty good. It's pretty low key. I'm home. It's snowing outside. So they said there's going to be like a snowstorm from tonight going into tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Super Bowl. So we'll see how that goes. I was just watching some basketball tonight. Fun times. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can see the comment section really quick. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, I forgot. I don't even do this color. What's happening? What's happening with you, Mark? I kind of like that green color. I'm going to stick with this color for now. This is like, like an amber color. I don't know what it looks like for y'all, but when I'm looking at the actual light, it looks like an amber color. Okay. That's already a show. Yes, it's called My Show. That's what it's called. Hi, Nash. Hi, Marshall. Hi, Charicity. Every time I see the name Char or Char, I think about my former life coach. Her name is Char. I need to reach out to her. I haven't reached out in a while. So much movement has happened since I last spoke. To her. That's my life always. Like, in my life, if you haven't spoken to me in more than a month or two, the next time you speak to me, most likely my life will have changed in a significant way. So there's a couple of changes that have happened. I have made an intentional choice not to talk about certain aspects of my life anymore. Some of y'all know why, but certain things I'm just not going to talk about. Well, I am going to talk about them on my membership page, but on here, no. But what was the one that I was going to say? Wow, I lost my train of thought. There's something I had in my mind to say, and I just didn't. I can't come up with it. I had it, and then I lost it. I was talking about the Super Bowl. I was talking about my weekend. What was I talking about that I thought about saying but decided not to say? Oh, I guess the changes that are going on. I guess the changes that are going on in my life. I think I was going on to talk about Mama Fee. Yeah, I reached out to Mama Fee. Me and Mama Fee were chatting. Mama Fee told me she was in Atlanta. Mama Fee was thinking that I was in Atlanta. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I don't know how she would remember that I'm from New York. I haven't spoken to her that much, but we were texting back and forth and chatting, and she said that tentatively she's going to be willing to do this Zoom call with y'all and me on February 27th. She actually said Thursday, February 28th, which threw me off because I'm like, February 28th. I went and looked on my calendar and I'm like, February 28th is a Friday. So I think she meant to say Thursday, but you know, I'll reach back out to her probably the week before just to confirm that she can still do it. It's amazing though, because I first spoke to Mama Fee last August for the premiere party, when I met her at the premiere party for season it was Big Brother season 24, 25. Was this season 26? She was 25, right? Yeah, so Big Brother 25. Yeah, so at the Big Brother 26 premiere party, I met her. I asked her about an interview. She said, sure. She said, take a picture and send me the picture so I know who it is, so I remember who it is, and send it to her. We chatted back and forth. Honestly, she gave me like mom advice. It was funny. She gave me mom, like more so than even us deciding about what she could do on my YouTube page or whatever, or doing an interview. She was telling me stuff, some like mom advice, and she was like, this is the same things that I tell my sons. Like, you need to figure out this, and you need to be up on this type of technology because that's the new wave. And these are some, like, she gave me some business tips, and I don't mean I asked her for them. I just mean when I reach out to her, like most of these people, if you reach out to them, they're kind of like, oh, what do you want? She'll be like, hey, pleasant morning to you, Mark. How are you doing? How's everything going? How's life? How's family? You know, like, I appreciate that, honestly, because she doesn't talk to people like their relationships with her are transactional. And really, I can't even say that I have a transactional relationship with her, because despite the fact that, yes, I do have things that I've wanted to work on with her, we've never done any of those things, and we've still had plenty of conversations. So you'd be like, some of these people, you talk to them and you know that it's just like, we're just speaking just to get this thing done, and that's it. You know, other people that I thought of aside from Mama Fee that I have good standing business relationships with. Hannah, I think I mentioned that before. Possibly Alyssa, even though Alyssa is a lot harder to reach. Alyssa Lopez. Maybe Azza. Like Azza curbs me, man. And I tell her this. I'm like, Azza, what happened to this interview that we've been talking about for 2 years? I mean, I've known Azza since I met Azza for the first time in was it 2022? I think it was like end of 2022 was when I first met Azza. I've been to every single one of her New York events, which has been about 5 to 6 things at this point. So, come on, man. Come on, Azza. But even still, I'm not a hater. So when I see her, you still see me shout her out every single time. You still see me pull her onto the camera every single time and tell everybody that out of all the events that I go to, it's kind of 1A and 1B between her and Wendell from Survivor for who I consider is the better host. But no offense to the Challenge Mania hosts. I love Derek especially, but man, I just think that Azza and Wendell host very organized events. They're very friendly and personable people. And the thing that I think that I like the most about those two in particular is that for both of them, I've gone to several of their events. For the Challenge Mania events, I've been to a good, probably an equal amount. I've probably been to 6 to 7 of each of those events. When I walk into Challenge Mania, yeah, they say hi to me, but it's like, hey, they don't even remember. I don't think Derek knows my name to this day. I've had so many conversations with Derek. He'll be like, what up, dude? I'm like, I know how that goes because I'm bad with names. I don't say what up, dude, but I'm like, hey, man. I know what it is when you don't remember somebody's name. It's funny. Most people don't shorten my name to Char. Would you think so? Would you think more would so only a special few Nash? When I started seeing, my brain still hasn't adjusted to seeing that in the chat because I know somebody, that's her whole name. Her name is not like Charity. Her name is not whatever. It's not a shortened name. Her name is actually Char. So when I see that in there, I'm like, who is Char? And then I'm like, oh yes, people say that in this chat. If you rather I won't do it, was not sure. I like it. I always find it interesting though. There's just a few people that do that, but the ones who tend to be just really cool people and people in life I vibe with, wow. I am cool, LOL. Yeah, so I remember, like, I specifically remember this. The first time I met Wendell, was this the first time? Okay, so I can't say I specifically remember this. I'm pretty sure this was it was the first time I met Wendell. I did not intend to go to a Survivor event because I was a very new Survivor fan at that time. I think I had just started watching. I think it was season 43. I think that was the first season of Survivor that I had watched. But I saw this thing that was put on by Wendell and Bryce. And I didn't know who Wendell or Bryce were. I had no idea who Wendell and Bryce were because I did not know anything about Survivor history at all. So there was an event called Reality TV and Mental Health, and that was a few years ago. And I was like, oh, this is cool, and it was free, and it was at NYU, I believe. So I shot over there after work, and I went over there, and it was a cool event. It had I can't even tell you that I remember, but it had people from Amazing Race. I don't watch Amazing Race, but it had people from Amazing Race. It had people from The Challenge. I think it had somebody from The Apprentice. I spoke to her. I forgot her name, but I asked her a question. It's still on YouTube. I could always find out if I wanted to. Good night, Marshall. So I remember I asked a question at the end of that event. And then Wendell came over to me at the end of this function. I think I was talking to a couple of people. Wendell walks over to me and he was just like, hey, man, what's your email address? I'm like, what do you need my email address for? He pulled out his phone and showed me like some pictures that he took of me when I was at the microphone asking my questions. He was like, man, you know, like I took a couple of pictures of you, and I think that he said I saw that you asked somebody to record your question, so I figured that you would appreciate a couple of pictures that I snapped of you. So shoot me your email address, and then he emailed me the pictures. I was like, that was really cool of him. Nobody's ever done that before. And then I remember he was like, hey man, we're having a Survivor karaoke party right now. Again, I didn't know anybody from Survivor. I was like, is it too late to get a ticket? He's like, absolutely not. You can get a ticket. Here's a discount code. He was like, we're shooting over there right now. I told him I don't really watch Survivor like that. He was like, whether you watch Survivor or not, trust me, it's going to be a good, fun time and you're going to enjoy it. So he convinced me. So I bought the ticket right then and there, went over to the karaoke party, and it was fun. Even though I only knew probably like 2 to 3 I remember Cache was there, and maybe like a few people that I knew from the Survivor 43 cast, and that was it. I knew like 3 to 4 people, but I had a great time. Now, the reason why I say that is because the second time I met every single event host of whatever event that they hosted, I said, my name is Mark. I met you before at such and such. And when I said that, then they were like, oh, yeah, either they remembered me for real or they pretended to. Like, oh, yeah, I kind of remember you. I walked into the first Survivor event the first official Survivor event that I ever went to, like a year after that karaoke thing. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, hey, what's up, Wendell? He said, hey, Mark. And I was like, you remember my name? Because I'm thinking to myself, I met him once. A whole year went by. He goes around and does all these different fan events and speaks to all these different people and lives his life in between. So how in the world is he going to remember my name? He was just like, no. He's like, no, I remember you, Mark. And honestly, that's what made him cool to me, because I've talked about this before. Imagine paying 5-6 different times for tickets to somebody's event and they hardly remember who you are. Gonna take a sexy shower while listening to this. Thanks for the super chat, Ma. I usually just take regular showers. Hopefully Bremdum from my dreams taught me properly. I had a dream about a guy teaching me how to take a shower. And then with Azza's events, Azza didn't remember my name It took like 3 to 4 events before Ozzy remembered my name. But she remembered my face. I don't blame her for that. I mean, they meet so many different people. Like I said, I'm terrible with names of. I could meet someone today and then I see them tomorrow and I might not remember their name. Matter of fact, I remember this one person years ago that I met in the gym. Actually, it's even worse than that. I met her in the gym, but I met and spoke to her several times, which is the case of many people in my life, to be honest with you. I know the post office guy as post office guy. I know the UPS guy as UPS guy. I know the front desk lady at the gym. Well, I told some people the story of how I now know the name of the front desk lady at the gym. This is so funny. I started going to this particular gym that I'm at now. What year was that? 2011. I think that was the first year that I signed up for a membership there. Yes, I signed up for a gym membership there for the first time, 2011. It's 2025 right now, right? When I signed up at the gym, this lady was working at the gym. Not that this matters, but I was about 2011. I was about 23 at the time when I signed up for that gym membership. And she's about early 50s. It was a long time ago. So this is a person who worked at the front desk, and she's been working at that front desk since the time I've been there. That's a 14-year span. And we used to have conversations, or we've had so many conversations. Like when I first got to that gym, I was just out of college. From the time that I signed up for that gym membership, I moved to Atlanta. I came back. I moved to Massachusetts. I came back. I've been in several different jobs. We've talked about many of those things over the course of that span of time. And there's people that I haven't known their names that I've spoken to many times, but it's a little different. Like for me to say post office guy, at least in my area, the person who drops off my mail changes every few years. Like every 2 to 3 years, we get a new male, man, or woman. So, and I just see them and it's like, hey, good morning. Thank you. We don't really have conversations. I was feeling so bad. Is this Nina from Facebook, from the Facebook group? If so, what's up, Nina? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But anyways, this is a person I knew for so long, 14 years. I almost feel like embarrassed to say that in a way, but 14 years of knowing someone and speaking to them on a fairly consistent basis and never knowing their name. Granted, she knew my name because I scan in my card when I go in the gym and everyone's name pops up. So she's going to know everybody's name based on that. But regardless, I feel like I might have asked her name the very first time that we spoke and never again. So I was always sitting there and thinking to myself that one of the people who walks in the gym while I'm speaking to her is going to be like, hey, so-and-so. And then I'm going to be like, now I got the name. And I was waiting for someone to do that for years. But no, every time I was there, she was just like, hey, you, to whoever walked in. And they'd be like, hey, how are you doing? I never heard them call her by her name. So I was like, can you imagine somebody that you known for 14 years of your life, which is a good more than a third of my life. Not knowing their name, but you know them that long. So one day, the way how I got her name was because somebody was asking. So I was walking towards the front desk, and somebody in the gym was asking me to ask her about something. I think somebody had spilled something in the gym, and they wanted to report it so that she could tell the person who cleans the gym to clean it up. So they're like, "Hey, can you go tell?" I forgot how this happened. Somebody came up to me to ask me to tell her something, and I was like, "Tell who?" And then the person said, "The front desk worker," and I was like, "Which one?" or something like that. So then they said her name, and then I was like, I went over there to the desk, and I was like, "Hey," and I said the name, and I said, "This and this person needs to tell you this and this," and I was like scared when I said it, despite the fact that that person had told me her name. I was scared. I'm like, what if I say this name and this is not actually her name, and she reads me for filth, and she's like, "That's not my name. Why did you call me that?" Because even if I try to play it off and say, "Oh, I was thinking of that other person who works at the front desk," she'd probably be looking at me like, "But you do know my name, right?" So that was how I avoided the crisis of letting someone I had known and spoken to for 14 years, not having to let that person know that I didn't know their name. But I'm extremely bad with names. Like, it's like my memory is so good in some ways. Like in the context of there will be an event. Like, let's say me as a photographer, I get hired to go do an event. The event is like 5 to 6 hours. I'll remember such extreme details that nobody else would ever remember about the event. I'd remember timestamps of when certain things happened. I'd remember outfits and the colors of different things. And I'd remember everything about the room. I would remember so many things about the majority of the conversations that I've had, like. But then if you ask me the people's names, I'm like, I don't know. Red shirt guy, blonde haired lady, red shoe lady. Like, I just don't remember people's names. I feel terrible about it. And I'm soon going to have to remember a whole bunch of new names. I don't even remember the name of, well, there's names that I should remember that I don't remember. Keep it general. But how are y'all doing tonight? How have your weekends been going? My weekend has been low key. I decided to jump on here for a little bit. I'm probably going to be on here for another 10 minutes or so. But I want to ask y'all, actually, what topics do you want to see me talk about? I ask this all the time, but what topics do you want to see me talk about? And also, you've been getting a lot of my lives lately, but because of changes that are upcoming, I'm going to be doing these lives this consistently for the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to go back to being on task and on schedule. So meaning that I'm going to have less time. I'm going to have less time to do lives upcoming in the next couple of weeks than I've had since I started, because I have always either had free time or so when I started, I had a remote job. So when I started doing these lives, so regardless of whether I was working or not, I was always able to finagle time to do my lives. I think that, with new situations happening, it's going to be back to my lives happening primarily just in the evenings, and I won't really have as many daytime ones, which is not really a huge deal for me, but it will suck when Big Brother comes along, because y'all know keeping up with Big Brother is difficult. So we'll see. I mean, people who are watching on the replay, since nobody's really answering here, you can drop a comment and let me know what topics are pieces of interest to you. I'm willing to talk about. I'm not going to say I'm willing to talk about anything, because I'll put a disclaimer out here. Some years ago, I made a Facebook post. It wasn't actually about a topic. It was a joke that I was making. It's just something that I said that I thought was funny. And this was back in the day before I had a smartphone. So what I mean by that is, when I put something on Facebook, I wasn't getting notifications on my phone, and I had to wait pretty much until I sat on a computer. Because while I could access Facebook on my phone, I was accessing it with whatever the data was at the time, 3G data, and I had to go on a web browser, which took forever. So I just waited until I got on my computer to be able to see the responses to my post. And I read the responses, and this one person had dropped on there and been like, "Oh, you're a misogynist." And I was looking at the post, and I was confused. And then I was like, nobody's ever said that to me before. That person was like, "Not yet. Maybe they didn't know that you were closeted like that." And I was like, what? So we're going back and forth and back and forth. And then other people are jumping in and supporting this woman. And then they're going back and forth. And this is something that people know. People who are on my social media know that I do not go back and forth with people on social media. But I was genuinely confused and upset. And the person saying this to me, actually, was somebody who I was seeing 5 days a week of my life during that time period in my life. This was a real life friend that had my phone number that I would speak to and see 5 out of 7 days every week. And we had a friendship, or so I thought. We had a good friendship as far as I knew. And to me, if I saw something and thought that about somebody that I was a good friend of, and I had their phone number, and I know I see them often, shoot them a text or give them a call. Like, I want to talk to you about this statement and let you know why I feel this way about it, and see why you said it and what your intent, whatever the case was. So I ended up actually being so upset that I took the comment and I showed it to my mom. And I was like, "Mom," I didn't even tell her that I wrote the comment. So I just showed her the comment without my name or anything. I was like, "Look at this. What do you think of it? I just want to know what you think of this." She laughed. She was like, "Ha, that's funny." I was like, it's funny? Do you think that it's misogynistic? Do you think that it's sexist? She was like, no, I think it's funny. So I was like, all right. Now I showed her the rest. I was like, I wrote this, and then look at all these different responses that I got to it. I was like, do you think that the things that they're saying should apply to this joke that I made? And she was like, to be honest with you, no. But she said, the era that we live in, the era that you live in and that you're growing up in is not the one that I grew up in. So she said, this kind of thing is best said to your friend group, your close friend group, offline. She said, if there's anything that you think of that is a certain type of humor that people have to get, or it's open to an interpretation, she's like, just leave it off the internet. And I have pretty much abided by that ever since. And the few times that I choose to jump into things and throw my opinion in there, like the responses that I get, I'm like, you know what? I need to keep continuing to live by that theory. Not by that theory, but by that motto, I guess. So that's the reason why my page, when it comes to certain topics, are lukewarmish, or sometimes I won't even address things at all. It's not because I don't see them. It's not because I don't talk about them. It's just that not here. If you're my friend, you have my phone number, you have my contact information, you want to talk to me about it, we can talk about it. But in terms of like putting it out there publicly for the court of public opinion to like judge my opinions on things, no. There's plenty of other pages for that. Yeah, principle, I guess. All right, y'all. So I did end up giving you extended minutes, and I am hopping off. But thank you for joining me tonight. And will I be on here tomorrow? I should be. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be on here tomorrow. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more amazing content. Thank you all, and have a...
You are now tuned in to Mindful Reality, the channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective.
What's up, family? It's Mimi from Big Brother Season 25, and you are now tuned in to Mindful Reality with Mark. I need for y'all to stop what you're doing and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, because the math ain't mathin', okay?